And those Care Bears are fairly rare. We give them out to special people, and certainly Kay is one of those people. People have mentioned about the human impact of what we do in the community, but also there's an economic impact. Our agencies spend money, staff spend money, I spend money. And we're going to ask Scott Harshbarger, who's on the board of Community Resources for Justice, our former State Attorney General, who is currently a Senior Counsel for Proskauer Rose in Boston, to say a few words.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you all. It's a great honor to be here. Nice to see Gloria, Kay Kahn, Ruth Balzer, David Linsky, Senator Murray, all the people you've honored. And let me just start, for those of you too young to remember, there was a time once when I was a candidate for office. And I look around this room and realize how much support I got from the nonprofit human service provider community, both as district attorney, as attorney general. And I mention that because it matters a great deal, both in terms of the economy, in terms of our obligation to each other, and in terms of your clout in this system. Let me just say, as president of the board of the Community Resources for Justice for several years, it's been a great honor, but also a great responsibility. And we've been able to fulfill our obligations to the extent we have of delivering services to those who without us have no one on any number of different levels, solely because of an outstanding staff, leadership, but also direct care people who day in and day out make a huge difference. And you help us fulfill our responsibilities, and therefore we're very grateful. I happen also to be somebody who, as people have mentioned here, and I thank the eloquence that has been displayed here by you. We all have had family members who have been desperately needy, and you have provided that care. So it makes a difference. But let me talk about two things that are not quite as powerful as the human impact that you have heard about and the services you deliver, but you must never forget. One, we live in a democracy. Democracy is not a spectator sport. This is not just about going around and talking to your legislators today. Remind people, on April 30, there is a primary election. There are elections every year in local towns and cities all over this Commonwealth. Human services workers and providers are in every community in Massachusetts. That's the major power of caring force, with all due respect. Your ability to influence selectmen, counselors, representatives, senators, and not only influence them, decide who serves you. You're very lucky to have the leaders we have here, but they need you too. When they say they have your back, you need to make sure you've got their back on election time. And that means you got to vote, and you got to be out there and make a difference. And therefore, that's why this is so important today. But here's how it's going to be measured. It's going to be measured by those who are with you and those who are not with you. And are you going to hold accountable people who do not support you? And let's be clear about this. We can talk about fairness and equity and equal justice and economic impact all we want. But at the end of the day, in a democracy, public policy gets made by votes and elections. And that's where we come in. This is about citizens. It's our obligation as citizens, as board members, as former elected officials, as care workers, as people who are getting care, we must vote. And that's why I think you're here today makes more importance than anything else that you can do. Don't forget, you're over 100,000 of you. You're one of the largest economic industries in Massachusetts. You are one of our leading edge industries. It's one of the quality of life issues in Massachusetts. Go around the country. No one has the kind of quality, caring, compassionate services that we deliver here in Massachusetts. And it's time when the budget comes in, and let me kid, if we can get casinos in Massachusetts, if we can vote for things about transportation and education, let's talk about prevention and care and services. And that's why we need you. So at the end of the day, I ask each of you, hold your board members accountable as well. Expect us as members of the community to be leaders, to play a role. But at the end of the day, democracy is not a spectator sport. At the end of the day, this is a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And remember this, you speak for people who without you have no one. If you do not speak for the poor and the powerless, who is going to speak? This is about you and the public voice and public interest. Good luck.